Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. Today, we're discussing one of the rarest and richest variants of the current generation of Cartier Santos. So the generation right here was launched in 2018 and quickly became perhaps the best rounded watch in the Cartier collection, although the original Santos dates back to 1904 when it was simultaneously one of the first wristwatches, the first Cartier wristwatch, and the first pilot's watch. It has been through many changes and generations since. This one has profound sporting capability while retaining the essential elegance of the Louis Cartier original from 1904. It is called the Santos Large, but make no mistake, it's not that big. It's more of a standard size, being approximately 39.8 millimeters from side to side, not inclusive of the crown guards. It is only 9.6 millimeters thick as I measure it, and a relatively compact 47.5 millimeters lug-to-lug. You could see with the quick switch system and Smart Link, we'll talk about Smart Link in a moment, but there is an effortless tool-free ability to remove and replace the bracelet if you want to clean between the lugs, or swapped the included leather strap. And Cartier has many accessory strap options that are compatible with this system and allow you to easily remove and reattach straps and bracelets. The watch is massive, and I say that having actually put it on a scale and verified that all up with every link in the bracelet, the watch weighs more than 237 grams. So for those of us in the old colonies, that's over half a pound. The watch is massive, but it fits nicely. It's friendly to smaller wrists, and I could see it fitting well on a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference. So my wrist is 16 centimeters circumference, and you could see that the lugs are really coming nowhere near the edge of my wrist on either side. Over the top, which tends to exaggerate the width of a watch, the lugs are still not out over the edge of my wrist. And then surprisingly flat and flush, it will easily slide underneath a dress cuff. Taking a look at the bracelet, it features these skeuomorphic rivets. Well, once upon a time, this may be how Cartier Santos bracelets were made. Today, it's purely symbolic and decorative. You can see the combination of the elegant polish and satin for a slight contrast. There is a little bit of a tapering as you move from the end link down towards the clasp itself. And by the way, what a handsome integrated bracelet sports watch. Proof that Patek Philippe, Vacheron, Lange, and Audemars Piguet are not having all the fun at the top end of this genre. It's constructed a little bit differently on the inside than one of the steel variants of the same bracelet. You can see there's a little bit of scalloping and media blast, though we still have the Smart Link system, and you'll appreciate we have quite a few of them on either side of the bracelet. So you just push that little tab down. The bar that retains the links together will pop out, though it remains attached. You cannot separate the bar from the link, as Cartier realizes that if they allowed you to do that, you would lose both. So they stay connected, but you press the little tab, the bar pops out, the bracelet is separated, and then you can release the link by popping the bar on the adjacent link and then rejoining them to size down. You can also put the links back in to size up, and you can do all of that without tools. This is a fully tool-free, fingernail sizable bracelet. Double deployment clasp, very thick gauge, 18 karat yellow gold. And yes, this is all yellow gold. Cartier monogram, twin trigger release. You have to press both for this to open up, and it is a sequential system right here. Actually, to be perfectly fair, it's not sequential, but it is a very robust system with thick gauge gold in here. So this is a real sports watch clasp. And the watch is a real sports watch, being 100 meters water resistant. And although not well advertised, it's also 1,200 Gauss anti-magnetic, that is to say, it will still function properly after an exposure to a magnetic flux density of 1,200 Gauss. So the movement inside is Cartier's own. It's known as the MC 1847. automatic winding, 42-hour power reserve, 4 hertz beat rate, 23 joules, featuring a quick set date and stop seconds, or hacking. I've covered up the back because there is individual identifiable information. There is a dedication to the original owner that will be between the subsequent owner and the original owner. I'm not going to expose that here. One easy way to identify the current generation of Cartier Santos and distinguish it from prior generations is that we have this little waterfall where the bezel flows into the form of the bracelet. Previously, that would have been distinctly separate. It would have been more or less symmetrical on all 4 sides. Again, we have the rivet-style bezel, harking back to 1904, when Louis Cartier created the first Santos de Cartier for his friend, Alberto Santos Dumont, who needed an aviator's watch. And back then, an aviator, more often than not, was lighter than air, so a dirigible or a Zeppelin-style aircraft. So Santos Dumont needed both hands to operate a cantankerous machine like that. He could not resort to his pocket to read the time, so the idea was a watch that he could wear on his wrist while captaining a 2-handed airship. He could look at his wrist, again, hand on the levers or the wheel, and so this was the most practical solution for an aviator on an airship. And so that's exactly how the watch was designed, becoming the first Cartier wristwatch, one of the first wristwatches ever made, and probably by quite some margin the first ever pilot's watch. But it's a very traditional dial. We have a little bit of an off-white with a chemin de fer, or what some might call a piano key track for reading the minutes and the hours and the seconds. Then we've got radially arrayed Roman numerals with a stylized watchmaker's 4, a Cartier secret signature down at Roman numeral 7. I promised you hacking seconds, and I promised you a quick set date. I'm a man of my word. And you can see there's a little cabochon in blue spinel right there, and a nicely executed polished bevel that runs end-to-end on both sides. If you love this watch, reach out to us, Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.